Hi, this is Survival Week at the Rambling Chronic PK, and so today I wanted to do a short video, and it has to do with this week's podcast. Which we are actually going to do a podcast each day this week, but the normal one that would hit on Friday night or Saturday, which is when I usually upload them. I discussed the fact that oftentimes people who are in a situation of chronic pain or emotional pain, but mostly physical pain, they think about dying an awful lot. And in the podcast, I discuss, the options and the thought process and why not. But if you're one of those people who you're just hell-bent on that you're going to, you want to die and you're going to go after it and you're going to do it. Well, I have some stories for you. I've got a lot of ideas. Believe me, over the years, I've had a lot of plans. I've had a lot of thoughts. The fact that I've been in so much pain, and the fact that I've dealt with the things that I've dealt with in life, I've certainly explored the possibilities. So if you really want to do it, no reason to put it off and be chicken about it. You might as well go ahead and try to figure it out. Now, if you're having trouble coming up with a plan, then I can help you with that as well. If you need a gun or you don't have a gun, guns can be relatively hard to get a hold of. If you have a gun, then the first thing you need to do is you need to take it, get some bullets and stick it in your mouth and pull the trigger. The only thing I want you to consider when you do that is if that bullet happens to not kill you for whatever reason, and it bounces around your brain, you might end up in a state that you are in worse pain, and you have a lot of limitations that you don't have right now. So it could actually make the situation worse. Well, what are some other ways to do it? I guess if I really wanted to kill myself, I personally would go to like downtown Nashville or something like that, and I would find a bridge that was tall enough that I knew that if I jump off of it, I couldn't survive the fall, and then I would make sure that I jumped off of it in the middle of a lot of traffic, so that the cars would certainly, if the fall didn't kill me, that a car would certainly hit me on the way down. Well, you say to me, hey, this is kind of morbid. Well, I want you to understand, we may often think about dying, and it is one of those things. Oftentimes I get really frustrated with a lot of religions because they focus too much on dying and not enough on living. The Rambling Chronic BK show is about positive action, and dying is not my idea of positive. So oftentimes I get on bulletin boards and I connect with people who have chronic pain and have other issues, and they just are so negative that it's all about dying, and they don't try to find ways to live. And so I'm going to offer my services. If you really want to plan on how to die, I'll be happy to talk to you. Just go to the website, email me or contact me in some way, and I'll discuss it with you, because I want to make sure that if you really want to do it, that you have thought everything through. And then if you don't, then I want to make sure that you don't accidentally get yourself in a situation where you make your decision twice as bad. So the question is, do you want to die? If you want to die, you can. And I know a lot of people who are walking around, and they may still have a heartbeat, they may still breathe, but they're already dead. They've given up. There's no hope. They've just decided, because of all the doctors that couldn't fix them, that they're going to die. So they lay around and they dope up as much as they possibly can, and they're just a waste of life. So, maybe if you do happen to die, someone else can fill your spot, and you'll have more positive energy in that space. Now you say, well, that's cruel and cold-hearted. Well, it might be. I've never said that I was the nicest person, but I just want to tell you that I am a compassionate person. And compassion does not always mean that you go pat somebody on the back and you say that I love you. Sometimes compassion says, hey, if you really want to die, then I'll help you. But if you really want to live, I'll really help you, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that you find a way to live the life that you want to live. So don't be in too big of a hurry to die, because death will certainly get you. And I know if you're in a lot of pain, and if you're just totally, completely miserable, and you've been to every doctor and everything, I'm going to ask the question, have you peed on the Capitol steps? Because when I had a point in my life where I really wanted to die, I had the plans, I had everything listed, and a friend of mine asked me, I said, I've tried everything. I've been to every doctor, been to every had every body part checked, everything. There's nothing left to do. And he said, well, have you peed on the Capitol steps? And I said, no. What? He said, well, then you haven't done everything. What if they go arrest you and they put you in a facility, and that facility gives you some medication that at least puts you out of the pain? And I said, well, that's ridiculous. But nonetheless, he said, you haven't done everything. So he smacked me across the face, actually several times. I'm going, what are you doing? And he said, if you want to die so badly, why do you care if I slap you? Why do you care if it hurts? Because you're just, you're just buying time. And I realized at that point the reality of what he was doing. If I wanted to die, then there was no reason to protect myself. But the second I reached up and blocked his swing and protected myself, I realized that, hey, that was an affirmation of life. That was a choice to live. So, if you want to make a choice to live today, I want you to tune in this week to the Rambling Chronic PK Show, because the Rambling Chronic PK Show, all week long, we're going to talk about survival. And survival oftentimes is not what we just limit to what we think. Sometimes we've got to hang on to some symbols. Sometimes we need to know we have a place to go and a place to be and people to be around. Sometimes we need to know some of the oddest, strangest things, but we have to eat, we have to have a shelter, we have to have certain things. And if we have those things, then that is the beginning of survival. But there's a lot more to survival than just having food and water. There's emotional survival, there's physical survival, and so I ask you to tune in this week and stay with us. Otherwise, if you really want to die, and that's just your motivation, and you don't want to survive, well, then you're wasting your time even watching this video. You might as well go find a way to do what you need to do. But otherwise, if you have any glimpse and any hope that you want to survive, tune in this week. Go to ramblingchronicpk.com, and all week long we're going to deal with surviving, and surviving through the hardest and worst possible conditions. I thank you. I hope that you take this challenge, and I hope you decide to live, and you tune in to the Rambling Chronic PK Show. Take care.